Somebody scammed you with the audition and all, like asked for money and you paid.
If an agent is asking you for money, they are not real. They're a scam.
So right now, are you working with any project, like any movie or any serial or anything?
My friend we finished a feature last year.
My. It isn't Princess Cordelia. That's right. You got out. What, you got yourself knocked up? Dropping off a little bit of trash?
Beg your pardon?
So shiny now. But you're still garbage on the inside, aren't you? Go get it.
Hold her down.
Please, stop talking.
Outside.
My mother's now your mother's
that's
ringer.
a very good question.
Unbelievable.
You're referring, no doubt, to our current political crisis.
Straight, sweetheart. You were wonderful.
Oh, you were too.
We should eat something before we head off to the theater.
Can't believe I drove all this way from Boston for The King and I.
I thought I was coming in for a chorus line.
The King and I is a classic.
Thank you so much, Alexandra, for connecting with me on this podcast. I hope you are doing very well.
I am. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, actually. Okay, so first of all, can you please tell to my audience about you, what exactly you do, all about your career and all?
Yeah. Uh, where do I even start? So I started acting from a young age, not professionally. I just kind of did it for fun. I did school plays, and I did this program called Destination Imagination. I won't go into it. People can Google it if they want, but it's like this extracurricular sort of activity for kids throughout elementary school. And I had done that, and it sparked an interest for acting. So then I got into musicals. Fun fact, I was an awful singer. I was so bad, but musicals taught me how to sing. And then after that, I really knew that I wanted to do this. So then I got myself an agent just coming out of high school. And then I went to Western University for Business because I was accepted into their pre-Ivy program. And I didn't want to pass that up, so I went. But luckily, I had booked and with an E, so that first year. So I kept getting brought back, and my agent didn't drop me, thank God. And yeah, it was good. It was a blessing. And then after 1 year at Western, I knew that's not what I wanted to do. So I transferred over to York University, and I spent a year there. And then I auditioned for their acting program. I got accepted into their acting program and spent 4 years there, graduated, and I'm still with the same agent that I was when I was 18. I'm almost 26 now. So I've been with them for almost 8 years.
Great.
And since then, I've just been doing film, TV, theater in Toronto. And I do a lot of private teaching as well.
Oh, that's great. So now you are not full-time actor.
So I'm
Teaching and all as well.
Yeah, so it's tough. When I graduated from school, it was the middle of the pandemic, so
Okay.
everything wasn't really normal. It wasn't running like it had been in the past. And then right when the pandemic ended, then the strike happened. So it definitely, I think, affected my work. However, that's when I sort of stemmed into teaching. So right now I teach for a variety of like kids programs. And then I also am the director of the devised theater workshop series at a company called Soldiers in the Arts. And we're based in Toronto. And the way I sort of got affiliated with them was I got cast in their production back in May of 2023. And then they asked me to come on as an educator. So now I teach Canadian Armed Forces veterans different styles of devised theater. And I love it. I love it so much.
Great. That's great job actually you are doing. Okay, and I
Hmm.
appreciate that we are connected and talking today. So let me talk about like your acting career. Okay, so
Yeah.
when you start this acting, the first job. So how you are feeling in your first acting job? Like you
Oh,
were
I remember.
excited or
Yeah, I remember a specific. So I think I kind of have two stories. My first one is my first time ever getting paid as an actor.
okay,
So I think I was probably like 12 or 13. I was so young. And at that time, I knew I wanted to be an actor. So I would go on Google and search up how can I be an actor, auditions in Toronto, all of these ridiculous prompts. And surprisingly, I found one for film school. I can't remember what film it was, but I begged my mom to bring me to the audition. I got it. And then I went to the filming date. My mom dropped me off. And then I had done it. And when I got back into the car, when my mom picked me up, the director handed her a check for $50. And it
oh,
wasn't a lot of money. But for me, I was like, this is my very first time getting paid. It was sort of like a little, you see, mom, like I can do it. This is a career. And she had said, oh, that's okay. Keep your money. And I was devastated, not so much for the money aspect of it, but I'm like, now I need to start back from square one. I haven't officially gotten paid as an actor. So I was so upset that she had done that. Um, but then when I got my first union job with an E, I was just shocked because I have never worked at that level before. So they treat you like royalty. And I don't know, maybe because I was young. I mean, I was 18, I was above age, but they treated me the minute I got on set. They were like, "Do you want coffee? Do you want food? Do you want this? Do you want that?" Like it, I was overwhelmed, and I had my own trailer, and I had like I just had everything at my disposal, and I'm like, "Oh my god, wow, this is not like these sketchy little non-union stuff that you do." And then luckily, Anne with an E brought me back for 3 seasons, so it was only supposed to be one like 3 lines in one episode of season one, and then they just kept bringing me back, which I was so grateful for because during school I wasn't allowed to technically audition for roles. So because this was a reoccurring role, I they sort of made an exception because I had to go back. So yeah, I was really fortunate for that experience.
that's great. So what was your first role when you was a kid and you start doing acting? What was
Mhm.
your first role?
Oh, as a kid,
Do you remember?
I guess I think so. I think the biggest I would say the role when I was a kid that made me realize I wanted to be an actor would have been I was casted in Les Mis, and it's a musical. And at the
Okay.
time, I could not sing at all, and I was just going into grade 9, and I got casted just as a part of the ensemble. So I played a beggar, I was a lovely lady, and I was just doing more of the chorus work. But I remember just being a part of that musical and getting to learn from all of the other incredible artists that I was working with. I knew I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be that. And I trained myself to sing through the Les Mis soundtrack. Even now, like my favorite song is I Dreamed a Dream. It will always be my favorite song. And I can recite the entire musical from start to end, like the whole thing. It's my favorite. But that musical changed my life.
Okay, that's great. So you like to sing also?
Oh, I love it. I love musical theater.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
So, right now, are you working with any project, like any movie or any serial or anything?
I'm doing a lot of things, like sort of private sort of jobs
Okay.
with my friends. So a lot of friends that I had from York University are all graduated. A lot of my friends were in the film program, so a lot of directors, writers, cinematographers. So we just sort of get together and we create our own work, which is really fun.
Okay.
And my friend just actually, we finished a feature last year. So fingers crossed it gets picked up. But that was his very first feature. Um, and yeah, it was a lot of fun because they're my friends too, which was great.
Yeah,
But as of right now, pardon
you're
me?
feeling proud. She's your friend, so you should
Yeah,
feel proud. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
that's great. So I saw that you are a content creator as well. You make your own content. So with your friends or like separately, you make any content?
Yeah. So I was accepted into a program with Workman Arts. They're based in Toronto as well, and they have a program called the If You Ask Me film program. So I applied. I had a history with Workman Arts because I was casted. It was my first professional production coming out of school, and I was casted in their show. And then after that, they hired me on as an acting instructor, and then I got accepted into their film program. And this film program is meant for individuals 25 and under to create their very first short film that surrounds the topic of mental health and addiction issues. So they commissioned and mentored me through the creation of my very first short film where I wrote it, I directed it, I co edited it, and I starred in it, but I have no lines. So.
Okay.
Mhm.
Understand. So, what do you think? Like, is there any difference between like Hollywood and the Canadian film industry? Is it different or is it
Oh,
same? What do you think?
no, it's so different. I definitely, as an actor, at least, I think there's a lot less competition here just because the population in Canada is significantly smaller than it is in the United States.
Mhm.
So on that end, it's just less competition. However, a lot of US companies are coming to Canada to shoot. So
Okay.
I've been in a lot of US shows. Like I've been on 5 days at Memorial. Yeah, I think. Yeah, Mrs. America, Fellow Travelers. What else? So all of those shows had like really big names attached, like Kate Blanchett. I got to work with Sarah Paulson. I got to work with. It was incredible. Um, Vera Farmiga. I got to work with. So all of these production companies come here because it's significantly cheaper, and then they just kind of like fill in the smaller roles with Canadian talent, which I guess I'm not complaining because it's work, but at the same time, I would really like for the Canadians to get those big um,
Yeah.
roles. But we do have a streaming service like we have CBC, which produces Canadian work, which is really great. And then sometimes you have Canadian work like Working Moms make their way over to US Netflix, and then it gains Hollywood status, I guess, or like Schitt's Creek. It started here. It started in Canada, Canadian cast, and then it got picked up by Hollywood. So
Okay, that's great. Did you ever hear about Bollywood also? Bollywood.
I have, yeah, I actually potentially might be working with some people from India, actually. So, a production company that I work very closely with here, and a production company in India. I can't speak too much about it, but apparently they have some. They're working together on something, and they want me to be in their films. So, yeah.
Great. Okay.
Hmm.
Bollywood also a largest film industry in India, and
Oh yeah.
now they are also going to shoot in in Canada, all over the world they are shooting. So
Yeah.
you can get a big chance. Even my first episode was with an Hollywood actress. She moved in India, and now she is working in Bollywood. So
Oh, lovely.
yeah, she's working here. She's staying even here in India. So
Hmm.
Bollywood also, big industry.
Oh, it's
Anyways,
massive.
uh, like, do you have like any bad experience in your acting career? Any bad experience you had? Because
Yeah, I would say
because
um
when something is good, there is something bad also in every
yeah,
industry, right?
always. Um I would say the biggest probably the biggest thing would just be like safety. It's gotten a lot better, I will say. Just like coming at, like as a woman, I've been in a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of situations where um, men have tried to take advantage
Mhm.
in an audition room. And when you're in an audition room and the director asks you to do something or they ask you to try something out, you feel like, yes, I should. And
They ask for
what I'm talking
compromise.
about here,
They
pardon
ask
me?
for compromise. They ask that
Yeah,
you can
and
get the
just
role, you have to compromise or ask for. It's called casting couch, I think.
yeah, so it's around like that, but nowadays people, if you're in a legitimate room, I
Mhm.
think you'll be safe. And a lot of the times now, there's intimacy choreographers and directors, both in the theater world and in film, TV, which is really great. And also, anytime that I have had to do an intimate scene, like being heavily involved in the blocking and the direction process of it. So I sort of like treat it like a dance, and you just choreograph it, you rehearse it, and then you try it out like any other scene. So it's kind of like going through your script and doing beats, but you just do that with your body physically, and then you can feel safe and trust each other.
Yeah,
But for the majority of the time, like if you're working with another actor and you feel safe with them, it'll usually be okay. I just really like to get to know the person before I do anything with them on that end. But unfortunately, the reality of it is in some audition rooms, you might still be expected to do those things, but I'd like to say don't do them if you're not comfortable. Like, don't do them. Don't feel the need to do them, even if they expect you to, because that is just not right. And
right,
you don't want to work with those type of people anyways. Like, I don't care how much money they're giving you. You don't want to work with them.
right. One of my friend, she offered a lead role in a movie, and she asked to compromise. Okay, so she denied,
Ooh,
and she said, "I don't want this work. Whatever money you are giving, it's not
yeah.
nothing, because it's uh, you know yeah, I can't sell you just for money. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
true. I suggest to everyone who is watching this, because this episode and this podcast watched by all the actor, director, producer. So I'm suggesting to everyone, don't compromise. Okay, you have talent, so you can find someone else, but don't compromise,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So any very good experience? Okay, it was bad experience first I ask, but now do you want to share any very good experience in this industry?
Yeah. Ooh, let's try to think of like the best. Oh, um, a big moment for me was when I got to, so I have two kind of. So the first one was more so in the film and TV aspect of things. But it was a tiny role. I had a couple of lines. It was for Mrs. America, and I got to work with Kate Blanchett and Sarah Paulson. Sarah Paulson was playing my mom, and
Mhm.
I learned, even though I only had a couple of lines, I had one scene, but it took the whole day to shoot because it's film and TV. But I learned so much by watching those two magnificent women act and just be. And to watch Kate, the beautiful thing about it was Kate had this really long speech at the beginning, and it's just a one take, and she has to do it every time. Like it's a big paragraph, big monologue that she had, and she was also putting on an accent that was far from her Australian accent. And every time she screwed up, because she did, she would mess a line. She didn't. She just laughed through it,
Okay.
and she was just like, "That's okay. We'll try again. We'll be okay." She just kept such a positive attitude, and she was joking about it rather than. I've been on set so many times with actors, and they just punish themselves for forgetting a line, and I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I forget a line, and I'm like, "Oh my god, you're so stupid. How did you do that?" And it's like even the greatest actors who've ever lived, a two-time Academy Award winner,
Mhm.
screws up.
Yeah.
But the difference is when she screws up, her confidence doesn't go down. It just goes, oh, who cares? I'm just going to do it again. So that was just a really beautiful moment for me. And I learned so much from that. I'm like, wow, like owning your embarrassment,
Okay.
which was beautiful. And then in the theater side of things, I got to, so I was casted in a show called Tunnel at the End of the Light, which was written and directed by Jonathan Guy Lewis, who is a playwright from the UK.
Okay.
And I was in a show, it was sort of verbatim theater. So we had half of us were professional actors, half of us were from the armed forces. So we had one who served in the British military, and then the other three served in Canada. And we got to act with them, and it was beautiful. And they had all served in Afghanistan, and we got to learn um, like about everything, about this side of the world, about this war, about what had happened, about the lives that were affected, and also like mesh it into art. And it was quite beautiful. And to tell a story that um, hasn't really been told before, people don't really talk about that specific war. When they speak about war, they always speak about World War One, World War Two. It's like overdone. Um, Whereas all of these other wars aren't really spoken about. So it was really beautiful to tell the stories of these veterans who are still trying to live this normal civilian life every day, but they are struggling, and people don't. Maybe it's not that they care, but the services just aren't really there. The time isn't there. So that production to me was the best experience in all acting I've ever had in my life. And I would go back a million times to just redo that production.
Okay. That's great. Okay, I always have one thing in my mind. Okay, and I was wondering, like, uh, an actor get a book of like all the lines and a script. How they remember like such kind of
Well,
like books and lines and all. How they do that? Because I tried
that's
to
so,
I tried by
I want to
myself,
say,
but I
yeah,
can't do
I
that.
want I want to say that's almost the easiest part. The easiest part is memorizing it, because then afterwards you have to actually lift it from the page, and you need to create this character from it. Because if you're just, if you have the lines memorized, but you're saying it like, "Oh, hello, darling, how are you today?" You're sounding like a robot. And unless you're
Right,
playing a robot, it's
right.
not great. So it's more so about the memorizing actually comes easier. It's just about now transitioning it to sound like it came out of your mouth for the very first time.
Uh-huh.
Um, but there's a technique that I've recently just learned, and it's called the Pomodoro effect, or like it's just called Pomodoro,
Wonderful.
and it's where you sit down we do it like 20 minutes on, 5 minutes off, and you do it for 3 times. And you just sit down with the text, you put your phone away, you put everything away, you just sit down and you just read the lines or you memorize it. And oftentimes, like if I have, I don't know, let's think of a monologue that I've had. It's like, or how dare you, let's say the line is, how dare you, Robert, I loved you. I would go, how dare you, how dare you, Robert, how dare you, Robert, I loved, how dare you, Robert, I loved you. So I would sort of like add one word at a time.
Okay.
um if Sometimes I do that. If my brain is like feeling really slow, then that's what I do. But oftentimes if I just read it enough times, it sort of like sinks in. I think I have a little bit of like a picture, like picture memory, just a tiny bit, because as I'm saying the lines, I can actually like see them on the page, which is funny.
Okay. So you have to,
Mhm.
perform with the same lining, whatever in the script, or you can modify like little bit.
Oh, yeah, it definitely depends. Like I've worked with directors where they give me a script and then they say, "Okay, throw it out. Have fun. You don't need
Okay.
to do the lines at all." They're like, "You just know the character, you know what you're trying to do, you know the
Right.
obstacles. Okay, have fun." That is my favorite. When a director is like, "You can just have fun and improv it." Oh, I love it. But then if you do something like theater, it depends what type of theater, you can't really do it. Shakespeare, you can't do it.
Okay.
Because it's in verse and it has like a rhythm to it. So if you miss a line, if you miss a syllable, it just breaks up the verse.
Right.
It breaks up the iambic pentameter. So it depends who you're working with, I would say.
Okay. Who is your favorite director till now? Like,
Oh, who's my
or any
favorite director?
director, or any director you want to like work with. You can share any name, one name, two name,
Hmm.
three name. It's okay.
Hmm. Probably Noah Baumbach, I think.
Okay.
He created the Marriage Story, and I loved it.
Okay. So
Yeah, I loved that entire movie.
he's from like from Canada or from Hollywood.
Oh, Noah Baumbach, yeah, he's Greta Gerwig's husband, um,
Okay.
and he's from Hollywood. But I would say here I have like three or four like friend directors who I work with all the time. I love them. I love them so much, but they're all so different from one another, which is really interesting. Like I have one friend, Pranay, and he just lets me do whatever I want. It's beautiful. He'll say something and then he's like, "Okay, now just have fun. Do it." And I'm like, "Okay." So it's a lot of collaboration. And then I have another director where it's more specific. So he knows he wants to hit every single little specific point, and that helps sometimes. Like it kind of makes my job easier when I like know exactly where you want me to go. And then I have another director who's very like they like having conversations about it. Like right before we go, before every scene, we need to have a conversation. We need to rehearse it a couple of times, sort of like theater a little bit, and then we bring the camera in. So I guess it just depends. I like doing all sort of styles, but I'd say like definitely having a little bit of freedom with improv and um, is the best. But improv can be difficult when you're doing it with another actor who doesn't have as much experience with it.
Okay. Right. So uh, I have one question. Maybe you can answer that about like the online workshop and the courses. Every time I go on YouTube, I get some advertisements from some directors, from actors, from singers that hey, I can make you a singer in one workshop. You learn, click here to get my course. Okay, I
Yeah.
can teach you. All those are like they really can make somebody actor or director, or they are just making money out of this only.
Well, that's definitely they are making money. I will say that.
Yeah, they are making money, but
They are
do
making
you
money.
think and good money, right?
Um,
Workshops.
I think so. I think it depends. It's very, I don't know, it's very, the whole like creative industry is very subjective because some people will like something, other people won't. No matter what you do, you'll have an audience that will like it, you'll have an audience that despises it. So it's very difficult. Like some actors, an actor who I think is great, someone else might say, I don't like them at all. But I think with these classes, I think it's definitely important to keep up with your craft, and whether you're someone who needs the sort of like discipline of like having a course and you go to the course, or whether that's in person or online, then that would be really beneficial for you. But I think also if you have the self discipline and you have the motivation to sort of explore on your own, then I think both work. Like I was in an educational setting for 4 years. So I was training full time for 4 years from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day. And I just got kind of sick and tired of it. I'm like, oh my God, I've been inside a conservatory program for so long. I haven't stepped out. And I'm like, I kind of I don't need any more voices around me. It's not that I don't want training. I don't want things like that. But I'm like, I've had so many people tell me this is what you're supposed to look like. This is what you're supposed to do. And I sort of need some time to just think, okay, what does Alex want? What type of actor does Alex want to be? What is her process rather than someone else deciding for me? So like nowadays, I was fortunate enough to be invited to an acting class, but it's not really a class because there's no instructor saying this is good or this is bad. It's just a room with artists, and we meet once a week. And a lot of the artists have been in the industry for like 20, 30, 40 years. So I'm learning so much. I'm grateful to be the youngest one in the room because I'm with all of these like actor veterans. And I'm like, wow, And we just get up and we are given a scene the day of, and you're with a partner. You don't know who your partner is until you show up and you just do the scene. And I got to perform for the first time this past Monday, and I was petrified of going up. But it was so I learned so much there than I have in an acting class in the past, which is surprising. And it's because the
Right.
room was so open, so safe. I could do whatever I wanted in that room without someone saying, this is bad, this is wrong.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if you will go live on the set, so I think that will be easy and get more information because you are watching live, you are doing performing well, and in theater as well, right? But when somebody teaching you online, maybe that's not that's weird. Actually, acting and direction can't learn easily, like without practical. Okay, on the phone,
Mhm.
on the computer, it's not very easy actually. Okay, if somebody is already in the industry, he know acting and all, he can get some tips. That's fine. But if somebody is starting a new journey as an actor or director, and he got a online teacher, okay, who asked, uh, who paid like few dollars, okay, like $50, and learning, I don't think so, because these kind of video you can get on YouTube free, of course, right?
Yeah, I don't know. The online learning, my entire last year of school was entirely online, which was really difficult. However, it did prepare me
Mhm.
for COVID after that, because in the pandemic, nowadays, I don't go to in-person auditions unless it's theater. Theater just opened their doors back up, but before it was all online. So you needed to have the online setup. You needed to figure out, okay, this is where I need to look. So my face is still in profile, but I'm still looking here. I need to make sure that my eyes stay within like this circle. So there are technical aspects that you could definitely learn online, and also self tapes nowadays. Film and TV, casting directors barely will see you in person. They will have the audition on self tape, the callback on self tape, or a lot of the times it's on Zoom until you get cast.
Okay.
Everything is online, which is quite it's pretty absurd, but that's the way it is now.
Yeah, technology is growing, so yeah, things are changing as well. So I'm not
Mhm.
blaming like every online teacher or online courses, okay? I know, okay, they are genuine, but some of them are fake, just earning money, not doing, just recording 10
Yes,
videos. I'm
I
talking about them.
I agree. I agree. I think for the advice that I would have for someone starting off
Mhm.
is, you don't need money. You don't need a lot of money to start off. You know, people have this thing. It's like, oh, I don't have money for headshots. I don't have money for to find an agent. Agents are free. If an agent is asking you for money, they are not real. They're a scam. And learn it from me, who paid an agent money back when I was 12. Scam. So an agent, the only thing that you will ever pay for are your headshots, your casting workbook account, your actors access, your casting networks, all of those services. But if as soon as an agent says you need to pay me a fee, you're out of there.
Yeah.
The agent works for you, and people forget that, and they get paid when you get paid. If you don't get paid, then they don't get paid. So just honestly find a friend to take photos of you. Like my headshots are all done by one of my friends from New York. His name's Yegor, and he takes all my photos. He's taken them for the past 5 years. And I've booked more work with his photos than I have with professional photos, which is, I don't know. I think it says a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever, somebody scammed you with the audition and all, like asked for money and you paid? Something happened like in this experience with you?
You know, I feel this was another kind of online thing. So when I was a kid, I found like, do you want to be a Disney star? Do you want to be the next Hannah Montana?
Yes.
As a kid, I was like,
It
oh
doesn't
my
matter if
God,
he likes
yeah.
me.
Like Hannah Montana is my favorite. And they would say, okay, sign up and come to the convention center, downtown Toronto, blah, blah, blah. So
Okay.
I begged my mom to go, please, please, please. And she brought me. It was such a scam. Like, it was just this big convention room of all these kids with their adults, whatever, with their parents. And then there's just, you show up, they give you sides to memorize. So like a little blurb from a commercial being like, this is my Build-A-Bear, blah, 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 random stuff. So you have to memorize it. And then you have to practice your model walk. And then they get you to go inside the room and there's these people watching you on the panel. And they say, okay, do your commercial. So I do my commercial. And then they're like, okay, do the catwalk. So I do my catwalk. And then they say to my mom, well, your kid isn't fully ready yet. So, but we have these programs in Florida and they cost blah, blah, blah amount of money. And like, this will teach your kid how to be an actor.
Uh,
And at the time, I was like, Mom, please, please. Because I didn't know anything. I just wanted to be Hannah Montana. And
right.
someone said, they're like, yeah, she has what it takes. You just need to go do the training. And then I begged my mom. And she was like, are you stupid? Yeah, no, I'm not paying for that. So thank God she didn't. Thank God. Um, yeah, the best
Yeah.
advice I've ever, when I did start out, I was 16. I was 16. I was in grade 10. And I would message every casting director in Toronto. I just somehow found their email. So, whatever emails I found online, I sent a massive email out to all of them, but like separately. And I said, hello, my name is Alexandra. I'm 16. I'm so passionate about acting. I want to be a star, blah, blah, blah. I have what it takes. And funny enough, one of the top casting directors now in Toronto who sees me regularly, she messaged me back when I was 16 and she said, I love your energy. I suggest going to school for it. And she said, here are my recommendations. And she said, York, she said, TMU, and she said, George Brown. And she's like, after you've graduated from that program, come talk to me. And then I did. And then she's casted me in film and she's seen me multiple times for productions. So yeah, that was good advice versus the Disney people who just wanted your money.
So, like, do you want to share like types of the scam happening in this industry to the audience? Like, one you already told me. One is people if agent is asking for money, that is a scam. Go out from there.
That's
The second one
mm,
is like they will say you that they will give you the work in big movies or big show, okay, and then ask to ask you to join their school program. Second is this. Is there any
yeah.
other scam happening in this industry?
I would just say like be careful in the non-union world. Like in the union world, everything is legit because it's
Yeah,
unionized, but
right.
especially like if you're doing a lot of non-union work, um, like I got myself into an awful situation once where I auditioned for some non-union gig and the person wanted to see me in person and they had said, "Oh yeah, the producer's here, director's there." And I got to the building and it turned out to be like a condo apartment and I thought we were going into the party room or something and he brought me into an apartment
Uh-huh.
and no one else was there. Like
Wow.
he said, "Oh, the producers had to leave. Oh, the director had to leave. Oh, I'm just going to read with you." And he locked the door and I immediately, like, this is a really scary story.
Yeah,
And
right.
I was petrified, but I didn't really lead on. Like, I was scared because if I did, I thought that something worse would happen. So I remained calm. I read through the script a couple of times. And then as he was escalating things and pressuring me to do things that I didn't want to do, I very quickly grabbed my bag. I don't even know what happened. I grabbed my bag and I sprinted out of there. And then when I had told a couple of friends of mine, because I came with two guy friends of mine, they ran upstairs. They started banging on the door, like these two big men being like, get out of the apartment. And they could hear someone inside, but he wouldn't open the door. And then afterwards, I asked the concierge who's in that room, and they're like, we don't have a name. When I asked, it was through Mandy.com. So sometimes Mandy was really great about it with me
Okay.
when I reported them. But like, you just need to be really careful. So do not meet privately. Like,
Private.
if you do, bring a friend, like, always bring a friend. I want to say, if it's not in like a public setting, if it's not in a studio. I was just very naive at the time, I guess. It was my first year of acting school. I had this big audition, the casting director spoke very highly of it. And I was like, oh, this is great. But it turned out to be one of the scariest moments of my life. So yeah, scams like that. Like if you have a gut feeling that this isn't right, it probably
Yeah,
isn't. And I
just
would
don't go.
stay away from it. Yeah.
Stay away. If you feel there anything wrong, just don't go there. Don't contact them. Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I learned a lot from you today.
Oh,
Yeah. And one more thing, like how the agents work, like how they get paid. They get paid like after you getting work, like commission or something, or
yeah.
how it
So
works.
so the way that it works is, so my agent receives all of my checks, all of like everything, and then also like all of the work talks to my agent. So I don't really do any communication with anyone unless it's like through my agent. And so the check will come to them. They take their percentage off, and then they send you the check with the breakdown of where the money came from.
Okay.
And for film and TV, it's 15% that they take off. And then for theater, it's 10%. And the reason being is because theater is just drastically less money. So
Right.
10% for theater, 15% for film and TV. Otherwise, you don't pay them at all.
Okay. Got it. So when you will get work, then they will get paid. If you will not get
Yep.
any work, they will not get paid. Right.
No.
That's
Yeah.
that's good.
So
That's
yeah, they're
legitimate.
definitely taking yeah, they're definitely taking a risk taking you on too,
Right.
like, because sometimes you don't work for a couple of months, but then, that's why I think it's really important to have an agent who you can have communication with, and they believe in you, like, they know where your potential lies, and they
Mhm.
stick with you for the long run. They're like, "I know it's not happening right now, but I see it happening. It's going to." So, I think that's important.
And how they find a job for you? Like they whenever there is any audition, they just send you a profile, right? If you selected
Yeah,
that.
so Yeah, so it's through casting websites, like
Mhm.
Casting Workbook, Casting Networks, and the casting director will send out like an audition posting, and the agent's always on it, looking, and they sort of submit you to what roles that they think you'd be great for, and then
Okay.
after that, the casting director chooses who they want to bring in for the audition.
Okay, that's great. That
Mhm.
looks
Yeah.
good to me. Okay, it's very management is very good with agent. So I will suggest to everyone to get an agent. Okay, so do you have any do you have any interest in politics also? Politics, politicians? No.
No, I try not to
Okay,
make yeah.
that's great. So now,
Mhm.
you know about like social media is growing, and are you making like any content that will help you to get more work in future? Like because I saw actors are creating contents. Okay, now they are not going for audition. They just send the social media link to the casting director. They see the work and they said, okay, um, okay. So are you
Yeah,
also making this kind of content? Are you active?
I'm 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 trying.
Yeah.
Uh, I I'm not very technology doesn't come easy to me, I guess. Like I very much rather in person. However, my when I made my short film, it really taught me a lot about technology. So I'm trying to do it right now. But I have a friend who I make videos with. So we do the filming and then he deals with all the editing and the posting. So we just started to make videos from Schitt's Creek. So we're doing like David and Alexis, like little parodies.
Mhm.
And we just made our first video the other day, and we're hoping to continue that because we love the show, we love the characters, and I haven't seen anyone do it before. So we're making these little parodies off these two characters. So trying to. However, I guess content creation is not necessarily where my passions lie, and also there's a lot of people who are great at it. It hasn't come naturally to me, but I'm definitely not opposed to doing it or trying or learning.
Okay. That's good. But uh, everyone making the short content in these days to get be more viral or famous, right? So that's
Yeah.
why I asked you. And you should also create like some content for your social media because it's a very benefit, you know,
Yeah, it
making
is.
series of like whatever the you know knowledge you have. You can share your knowledge. You can even inspire to anybody. Like this is my podcast. I'm talking with you. I have another channel actually. Okay, where I make content like helping. To people like about cyber against the cyber crime, like cyber crimes, like technology is evolving, cyber crimes
Mm-hmm.
also growing in these days.
Yeah.
So I make videos on that channel, okay, aware to the people about that this is a scam, this is stay away from this, okay, stay away from this, okay, and people are giving good love to that, okay. So that is
That's
actually
great.
passion. That is my passion, okay, to help to somebody who really need my help, whatever I know, whatever I can help to them, okay.
Yeah.
So it should happen actually. Okay, you should give some time to content creation as well. Help to
Learn.
your industry people and teach them. I mean, give some tips, good whatever you can give to them, right?
Mhm.
So uh, it was a very nice conversation today with you. And
Yeah.
if you want to share any other experience, good or bad, or anything you want to talk, you can talk about your project,
uh,
coming project, or your recent project. You can share, uh,
mm,
like,
um, just a film. Uh, I did a feature, Trapped. It's called Trapped. So we're hoping to get that distributed. It's by Letter 50 Productions. And then we're hoping to put Tunnel at the End of the Light back up in the fall with Soldiers in the Arts. We're hoping to bring it to Ottawa, Ontario. And from there, just the grind never stops. You keep auditioning, you keep having coffees, you keep networking until something sticks. And that's the life of an actor. But
yeah,
luckily I
right.
have things like teaching. Yeah, that keeps me afloat and I love it. So, mhm.
Okay, great. Have you been in India?
No, I've never.
You never been?
My best friend's Indian, though. My best friend is. I don't even think she's been to India though, but yeah, my best friend is Indian.
Oh, wow. Do you know where she from? From India?
Oh, no, I don't. Her dad is from India and her mom is from Guyana.
Okay.
Trying to think. I don't know where her dad is from though. I think he was born here too. I think her grandparents were born there.
Okay. So she is Indo-Canadian. She is not no,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Indian, right?
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, no, no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, many. I know also many Indians, Indo-Canadian. Okay, who born there. Okay, their parents are from India or from any other country. So you just can say they are 100% Indian. They have blood of Indian, but they are
Yeah.
Indo-Canadian.
Yeah,
Anyways,
Indo-Canadian.
I have planned to come in Canada very soon. Okay, we are going to shoot a song. Okay, so we are coming
Exciting.
Canada, then US,
Nice.
we are going another one more country. Okay,
Mhm.
it's Egypt. You heard about Egypt, the Gaza,
Egypt. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
pyramid and all.
Oh, very
Yes, so we are going in three countries. Okay, mid of
interesting.
this year. So we have like crew there as
Mhm.
well. Our company, providing the crew, film, production equipments, editing, and everything. Okay, even if you need any help from us, okay, when you will create the content, okay, I offer this to every guest. Okay, and this is
Yeah.
not like I'm not just pitching you like I'm not pitching you that I need money. I can help you if you need my help. Okay, anytime you can ask. Okay, in video production, in editing, or in even content writing, content creation, we have all the teams in my
Oh,
office,
well,
okay, all over the
I
world,
appreciate.
in even your country as well. I have people who work for
Mhm. Oh, that's great. Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
So we are growing this company. So I hope everything will go better wherever the vision I have in my mind.
Yeah.
So, have you been in America, in Hollywood?
I've never been to Los Angeles. No, I've been to everywhere else in the States, but I haven't been to Los Angeles. I used to play basketball growing up, so I've been everywhere along the States for tournaments, but I not Los Angeles.
Okay, all right. Uh,
Mhm.
I have connections from there, okay, and when they will watch, everyone watch the video. So when they will watch, maybe they will welcome you very soon. I will
Oh,
go for you. Okay.
fingers crossed.
Uh, Thank you so much for giving your time today,
Yeah, of
Alexandra,
course.
and it was a nice conversation. Really, I'm feeling very lucky that I'm talking in Canada, sitting here. I learn lots of things, learning lots of things from every guest. Okay, like I learn uh, 5 to 6 things today. One is this, about the scams. What is scams going on? Uh, uh, the second thing, the agent, how agent work. Okay,
Mhm.
so many things I learned from you. So thank you so much for that. And now I'm going to sign out this. Okay. If you have any good message, okay, for all the viewers you want to share before we end this session, please share to them.
Well, thank you for having me on the channel, first and foremost. I'm glad that I could share what knowledge I have. Very little in the grand scheme of things, but at least something. And it's a hard road. I will say, it's a very hard road out there as an actor. But if you keep with it, I truly think if you keep with it, and if you surround yourself with the right people, the people who will encourage you rather than critique you, criticize, and stomp on you, then nothing can really stop you. You are your biggest enemy.
Right.
So be like Kate Blanchett, and when you mess up, who cares? Just keep going. So yeah,
Great message. And I really best of luck for your future. Okay. One day when
thank
you will be a very big star. Okay.
you.
Then watch this episode and give a smile that yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Oh.
talking and he said this to me. Okay. Even in last episode there was a kid actress who was talking with me. Okay. uh,
Yeah.
I know she's growing and she's giving her best, and one day she will be a star. So I know that. But when she will be like 25 or 26 and will be star, so when she will go back and watch her, this podcast or this
Yeah.
conversation, she will feel, yeah. So these are
Yeah. Of
memories.
course.
These are memorable moments, actually. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
again. Okay.
Of
And
course.
we will be in touch. Okay. Whatever help we can do for you, please feel free to ask me. And thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank
Namaste.
you. You too.